The patrol ship, Vanguard, moved quietly along the outer trade lanes of the Valoran Union. The journey was routine. Cargo ships passed by, stars shown in familiar patterns. Nothing felt unusual. Captain Rawdon stood on the bridge, watching the navigation display. Everything was normal. Then the screen flickered. A soft warning tone echoed through the control room. The navigator frowned and tapped the console. One section of the star chart began to fade. Lines vanished. Trade routes disappeared. Then an entire sector turned black. "Navigation error?" the captain asked. "No, sir," the navigator replied, his voice tightening. "The system is removing the data." The ship's AI spoke in a calm voice. "Warning. Unregistered zone detected." The captain checked the database. No stars. No colonies. No records. Only a dark, empty region where space should have been filled with systems. A young officer leaned closer to the display. "Sir, this sector wasn't blank yesterday." Silence spread across the bridge. Then the senior navigator slowly stepped back, his face drained of color. He whispered, barely audible, "Human space." No one spoke. Several crew members lowered their eyes. One officer quietly powered down his station, as if pretending not to see the dark region. Before the captain could question them, an encrypted message arrived from High Command. "Change course immediately. Do not approach the dark sector." The captain waited for an explanation. None came. A final line appeared. "Do not ask questions." Captain Rawdon stared at the silent black region on the map. For the first time in his career, he gave an order without demanding answers. "Helm, alter course." As the ship turned away, the dark sector remained on the screen, silent, untouched, and feared. And no one on the bridge dared to speak of it. The Vanguard traveled in silence after changing course. No one spoke about the dark sector. No one even looked at the navigation screen anymore. Captain Rawdon noticed a tension growing across the bridge. His crew was trained to face danger without fear. Pirates, war zones, and cosmic storms never frightened them. But this was different. This was silence. Hours later, the captain entered the mess hall. Conversation stopped the moment he arrived. Officers exchanged uneasy glances, then quietly returned to their meals. Finally, Rawdon sat across from Lieutenant Saran, the youngest officer on board. "You saw it," the captain said. Saran hesitated before nodding. "Sir, why is human space not on the maps?" Before Rawdon could answer, an older engineer at the next table spoke, without looking up. "Because it is better that way." The room fell silent again. Later, the captain reviewed trade route data. Something immediately stood out. Shipping lanes curved widely around the dark region. Cargo vessels added weeks to their journeys to avoid it. Even illegal smuggling routes stayed far away. Rawdon opened pirate activity reports. None within 10 light years of the sector. That made no sense. Pirates feared nothing, yet they feared this. He searched historical incident logs. Most entries were missing. Others were heavily redacted. Only short notes remained. Signal lost near border. Navigation failure reported. Vessel failed to return. No distress calls. No wreckage. No survivors. Just disappearance. That night, while the ship drifted through silent stars, Rawdon returned to the bridge. The dark sector still lingered at the edge of the display. Untouched, unexplained, avoided by every route in the galaxy. Behind him, the senior navigator spoke softly. "Captain, some borders exist for a reason." Rawdon kept his eyes on the dark region, and for the first time, he wondered what kind of power could make an entire galaxy look away. Captain Rawdon could not ignore the dark sector anymore. If the galaxy feared human space, he needed to know why. Inside his private quarters, he accessed the restricted archives. His command clearance opened files that most officers never saw. At first, nothing appeared. Then a warning message flashed. "Restricted records sealed by coalition order." Rawdon entered his override code. The screen filled with fragmented war logs. Dates centuries old. One entry repeated again and again. First contact conflict. Rawdon opened the file. The footage was damaged, but the audio remained clear. A coalition fleet, thousands of warships strong, formed a blockade near human territory. Weapons were armed, shields active. Victory was expected. Then the recording filled with static. Officers shouted. Target locks failed. Weapon systems shut down without command. Navigation collapsed. Entire ships went dark one by one. No explosions. No enemy fire. Only silence. Within 11 minutes, the largest fleet in coalition history stopped responding. Another log appeared. Survivor testimony, classified. A trembling voice spoke. They did not attack us. They turned us off. Every system died. We were helpless. Then a signal reached us. The audio distorted before the final words. Leave. Do not return. Rawdon leaned back slowly. The next file showed a council order issued immediately after the incident. All battle records sealed. Human territory removed from maps. Navigation routes redirected. Public mention prohibited. Final directive. Avoid contact. Maintain distance. Preserve peace. Rawdon stared at the last line. Humanity had not been defeated. They had not surrendered. They had drawn a line. And the galaxy had agreed never to cross it. Outside his viewport, distant stars glowed quietly. Somewhere beyond them lay the space no one dared enter. 2 days later, the Vanguard continued along its revised route. The crew worked quietly, but the mood had changed. Everyone felt as if they were sailing near something vast and unseen. Then the sensor officer spoke sharply. Captain, we are detecting a drifting object near the outer boundary. The bridge grew still. Identify, Rawdon ordered. Escape pod. Life support active. The coordinates appeared on the screen. It was drifting less than 1 light hour from the dark sector. Protocol required rescue. High Command orders warned against approach. Rawdon hesitated only a moment. Bring it aboard. Minutes later, the pod was secured in the medical bay. Inside was a thin, gray-skinned trader wearing a torn environment suit. His eyes darted wildly, as if expecting something to follow him. When he finally spoke, his voice shook. We did not know the border was real. The captain leaned closer. What happened? The survivor swallowed hard. Our smuggling ship cut across the sector to save time. At first, nothing happened. Then every system shut down at once. Engines, weapons, lights, even our emergency beacons. His breathing quickened. We thought we were under attack, but there were no weapons. The medical officer tried to calm him, but he gripped the captain's arm. They surrounded us. Rawdon frowned. Who did? The trader's pupils trembled. Human ships. Massive silence, just watching. No one in the room moved. They did not fire, he continued. They waited. Then our systems came back online and a message appeared. He whispered the words as if repeating a warning carved into his memory. You have crossed a protected boundary. Leave. They let us go, he finished. They wanted us to tell others. Silence filled the medical bay. Not destroyed. Not attacked. Warned. Captain Rawdon slowly released his breath. Beyond the ship's hull, the dark sector waited in silence, not empty, not forgotten, but guarded. The Vanguard resumed its course, but the rescue had changed everything. The crew moved carefully, speaking in low voices. Even routine system checks felt heavier now. Hours later, the lights flickered. Then the engines powered down. The hum of the ship vanished. A cold silence filled the bridge. Report. Captain Rawdon ordered. Power loss across all systems. The engineer replied. We are not damaged. Everything is simply offline. Navigation screens went black. Weapon systems unresponsive. Communication silent. The ship drifted helplessly in open space. Then the sensor panel blinked once before dying. Before it went dark completely, one shape appeared on the display. Large, motionless, unidentified. Outside the viewport, the stars seemed to dim as a vast shadow moved into view. Gasps spread across the bridge. A ship emerged from the darkness. It was enormous, larger than any warship the captain had ever seen. Its surface was smooth and dark, with no visible weapons, no glowing engines, and no insignia. It did not threaten. It did not move. It simply existed. The crew sat frozen, afraid even to breathe. Then a soft tone sounded across the silent bridge. Power returned. Screens flickered back to life. A single transmission appeared on the central display. No signal source. No encryption signature. Just calm text in clear standard language. You are near protected human space. Alter course, and you will not be harmed. No threats. No aggression. Only certainty. Captain Rawdon stared at the massive vessel outside the viewport. It had not fired. It had not demanded surrender. It had simply stopped them effortlessly. He understood now why fleets vanished, why maps went dark, and why no one spoke of this region. This was not a border defended by weapons. It was a boundary enforced by absolute power. Rawdon swallowed and gave the order quietly. Helm, alter course. As the ship began to turn, the colossal human vessel faded back into darkness. Silent, watchful, and untouchable, the Vanguard changed course slowly, its engines humming again as power stabilized. No one spoke. The crew watched the view screen as the enormous human vessel drifted backward into darkness and vanished among the stars. It did not cloak. It did not accelerate. It simply disappeared, as the space itself had swallowed it. Minutes later, a secure transmission arrived from Valoran High Command. Incident logged. No further report required. Resume patrol route. Captain Rawdon read the message twice. No questions. No investigation. No mention of a human ship. He dismissed the transmission and turned toward the main display. The navigation chart updated. Trade routes reappeared. Star markers returned. But the dark sector remained empty, a silent gap carved into the map of the galaxy, as if it did not exist. Rawdon now understood. It was not erased. It was respected. Later, he visited the rescued trader, who was preparing for transfer at the next station. The man looked calmer now, but his eyes still carried the memory of what he had seen. "You will tell others?" Rawdon asked. The trader nodded slowly. No one believes the stories until they see the border. That night, alone on the bridge, Rawdon studied the star chart one final time. Thousands of systems, endless routes, empires rising and falling across the stars. Yet one region remained untouched, not claimed, not challenged. Beyond that invisible line lived a species powerful enough to end wars before they began, and disciplined enough not to rule the galaxy. Rawdon quietly logged his final note. Human space is not dark. It is protected, and the galaxy survives by respecting the line humanity drew among the stars. He closed the log. Outside the viewport, the silent region waited. Not empty, not forgotten, but guarded by a power no one dared test.